Hello and welcome to MCPSS Athletics. My name is Calvin Chris, Athletic Director for Mobile County Public Schools. In the studio today we have from Blount High School girls basketball coach Jarvis Wilson and boys basketball coach Jeffrey Pope. But first, let's get to the scoreboard. In boys basketball, Florida defeated Choctawhatchee, Florida 70-46 behind Morton 17 points and 10 rebounds. Viger lost to St. Paul 69-37. Behind Gills 27 points, Theodore defeated BC Rains 70-62. Williamson dropped a 55-45 contest with Fairhope. Westry led all scorers with 21 points. Alma Bryant defeated Satsuma 48-30 as Hackworth led the Hurricanes with 14 points. And on Saturday night, LaFleur defeated Daphne 63-50. Massey and Morton led the Rattlers with 10 points. In girls basketball, LaFleur defeated Choctawhatchee 37-34 with Hill pumping in 17 points. Craig led the Viger with 15 points as the Wolves defeated St. Paul's 59-21. Alma Bryant picked up their 10th win as they defeated Satsuma 61-19. Banks led the way with 22 points. Murphy defeated Davidson 70-50. Edwin had a double-double with 19 points and 10 assists. BC Rains defeated Theodore 73-59 as Williams scored 20 points and pulled 12 rebounds. On Saturday night, Viger defeated Foley 53-22 behind Craig's 26 points. Hill scored 31 points as LaFleur defeated Daphne 53-24. And that is it for this week's scoreboard. In just a moment, we'll be back with our first guest, girls basketball coach Jarvis Wilson.
I transferred to Viger High School halfway through my sophomore year, and the curriculum there, the instructors, teachers, the whole thing was just a shock to me. At Viger, you were encouraged to critically think, and so I was just well-grounded to move on into college football and then on into the NFL. Well, for me, Viger High School was the start. It's where I started, and I'm very proud of that.
I'm Ashley Rich, Mobile County District Attorney. The failure to obey school bus safety laws will cost you. It can cost you up to a $3,000 fine and the loss of your driving privileges.
But more than that, it could cost the life of a child. That's why the Mobile County Public School System is urging you to stop and obey all bus traffic laws.
Hi, I'm Pat Mitchell, Director of Transportation for the Mobile County Public School System. We're asking you to obey all bus safety laws. It could save a life. Remember, stop ahead when you see red. Our future depends on it.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Welcome back. Our first guest today is the girls basketball coach Jarvis Wilson from Blount High School. Coach, appreciate you coming by today.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Chris, for having me.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit about being at Blount, how long you've been there?
I've been at Blount, this is going to my 5th year here entering Blount High School. Came over from LaFleur High and been there for 5 years. And
Coach, you have coached just about everything, haven't you?
Yes,
Talk a little bit about your previous coaching.
I have. Since I've been here, I've been a head baseball coach. I've coached football, held several capacities of that, offensive coordinator, assistant head coach, and of course head girls basketball coach, along with coaching middle school basketball upon my arrival here in Mobile.
Coach, as most people know, you went to the finals last year and lost in the finals, and you've got everybody coming back. How do you go about keeping the bar raised as high as you have set it at Blount High School?
Well, right now, that comes with athletes willing to buy in and to do the things that they see that we are trying to do. The athletes that we have now, they know the goals that we have set for ourselves as a team. They came in as freshmen after my first year at Blount. Since they have been there, we've had goals to reach the Final Four. We've done that, and also had goals on winning the state championship. We got very close last year. This year, they're coming in, they're working hard. You know, most people say that my team worked hard from the end of the season. This time, we can truly say that they have been working since the end of the year. They have been doing that.
Coach, what is harder, getting to that point or staying at that point?
I would like to say staying at that point because it's easy to get complacent. It's very easy to get complacent. Of course, playing teams and that might not have as much talent as you have, and the things that you are continuously telling them that they're going to have to improve and look at, they might not be faced with those obstacles during that particular night. But of course, we keep trying and we keep telling them, and hopefully that they'll keep buying in, and when that opportunity comes to display some of the things that we've been saying, that they're able to do so.
Coach, we're still dealing with 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and some of them are kids, some of them more mature than others, but I think you've done a wonderful job because you've had kind of a blend of young kids, and they've kind of come up together, haven't they?
Exactly. Kids that have been together for a second, and they all went to the same middle school, and that helps. Of course, right. In our system, sometimes the feeder programs, kids go different areas, but fortunately enough, those young ladies came along. They all been together for a while. Even the kids that have come into our program, they're used to the community kids. They're used to seeing them. They grew up together, and there's just a nice family atmosphere and fun to be around.
Coach, how was it to bring in, you had an extremely good athlete from Murphy to transfer in, and you had your starting 5 coming back. How was that? I know anytime that happens, it kind of concerns because you had a good thing going, and I know she's an extremely good athlete. How was that transition for you?
It's been a very smooth transition. After she came in, the girls accepted her in, and she came in willing to work. And one thing that we was laughing yesterday when we had shoot around, she was like, "Coach, my legs haven't been this sore this fast in the season." And I said that comes because everybody's competitive. No one wants to sit down. Everyone wants to contribute, and that's the best thing I can say about our team so far. That no one wants to say that I was that player that was just on the team and did not contribute in some shape, form, or fashion.
Coach, let's get into your season. You want to tell us a little bit what's happened up to this point?
Okay, right now we're playing pretty good. Looking to gel and to just continues to get better. We have so far we've played in one national tournament. We're playing at the Turkey Jam in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That was one of our only losses this year. We split one with Oakland, Tennessee, and we played North Little Rock, Arkansas. They're the number 2 team in the state of Arkansas. We played them, and Oakland, Tennessee, they're the number 3 team in the state of Tennessee, and they beat us by 3 points. Overall, they have been doing very well. We're just trying to find that chemistry, of course, with the transfer coming in, and just trying to find that blend and that nucleus that's going to help us to get to the top where we're trying to get to.
Coach, you think playing in these tournaments is going to help you along the way? I know I was talking on one show that there was one team, one guy said he played some other teams 3 or 4 times, and I know that's got to get old, and I admire you for going off like that, but you think it really helps?
Yes, I think it helps a lot because at competition level, the bar is raised. You have teams that hadn't grew up with this player and doesn't have that fear factor or intimidated by this player that they might have been intimidated by for so long. It's an equal playing ground, level playing field, and the competition is so much better that everyone there, like I say, in Tennessee, we played teams that had 2 and 3 Division I players, and that was something that I felt like last year when we finally got to the point we were trying to get to, that we were just really, just outmanned, and more just so people that have been playing on that level for so long that, they had a little bit more experience than us. So now we're trying to take our girls on that next level so when they are on that big stage, they're able to perform.
I know a lot of times we get caught up in our won-loss record, but in this situation, sometimes a good loss is better than a win here at home against somebody that's not as competitive.
Exactly. And that's what we try to let the girls understand, that, it's not all about wins or losses.
Right.
We're trying to get better each and every day because, like I said, you can't win a state championship in the state of Georgia, or you can't win a state championship in the state of Tennessee. But what you can do is prepare yourself to get better so when you do come back home and you do play competition that's going to require you to be able to win that state championship, that you feel like you put yourself in a situation to be very successful.
Well, Coach, we'll be back at the end and bring you back and talk to you a little bit more about your season. And we'll be back in just a second with Coach Pope.
I saw Mr. Tillman's class. Just that quick little 5 minutes I had with him, made me think that I really wanted to do small engines. I just love tinkering with them, just a gearhead. Graduating from the Career Tech Center has allowed me to better myself, make more money, be more informed about the trade that I'm going to be in. I just felt like doing a trade is just better than working in an office or something. I have to be outside working with my hand or something.
MCPSS Career Tech. Start your future today.
It started for me when I went into the first grade, and then I went on to George Hall Elementary School, and from there to Williamson, where I graduated. The public school system, it had a great impact on me because not only did it prepare me academically for my future career, but it also prepared me for life. Because of its diversity of students and teachers, it really gave me a well-rounded education.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Welcome back. We're happy to have the boys basketball coach from Blount, Coach Jeffrey Pope. Coach, appreciate you coming by today.
Thank you.
Coach, want to tell us a little bit about your time at Blount High School?
Well, this is my 4th year at Blount High School. I really enjoyed it so far. It's been a roller coaster, but it's been really, really good. My first year, we got there at Blount. I inherited a team from Coach Bettis, who had done a really good job there. Had the opportunity to coach a group of guys that it was their senior year, and we got right to the region. And I felt like we had an opportunity maybe to make the extra step, possibly to get to Birmingham, but it didn't happen. The very next year, we kind of got back to that same situation. We lost to Murphy in the region, or in the sub-regional game at Murphy High School. But last year was a year that I felt like was coming to Blount for a really long time. Had the opportunity to go to Birmingham. It was unfortunate that we lost to Mount Brook in a really close game, but I felt like the kids gained some valuable experience, and hopefully it'll carry over to this year.
Coach, you want to tell us a little bit about before you got to Blount? You was, I believe, in elementary school?
Oh yeah, yes. I actually had, I was a 5th grade elementary school teacher. I had taught a year in Tuskegee, then I did one other year in Selma, and then my last 7 or 8 years was here at Mobile, and I taught 5th grade for about 4 years, and then I taught 2nd grade for 4 years. But it was actually a great experience because a lot of the kids that I'm dealing with now are some of the same kids that sat in my classroom.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, in elementary school.
I guess it's an adjustment going from a situation where elementary kids, most of them, whatever you tell them they're going to do, but now it's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess it really is. It's somewhat of a small transition. You know, you still kind of have some of the same problems, you know, with elementary school kids that you do with high school kids, because they're still our kids. But you know, as a basketball coach and as a teacher, our job is just continue just to love on.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. Coach, want to tell us a little bit about your season up to this point?
Well, right now, we're playing okay. We're 9-1. I think, most people would probably be happy with being 9-1, but I understand we still have a long way to go, and there's a lot of things that we really need to work on as a team. Mm-hmm. Some people will look at your record and say, man, you're really doing well, but I understand with the wins and losses, it may look good in the public, but as a coach, when you go back and you watch film, and you break down and you dissect stuff, you find out how kids are out of place, how people aren't talking, people are not in the defensive stance. Mm-hmm. And so, what we're trying to do is cut down on the things that's gonna hurt in the long run. So, our record may say one thing, but, we're still trying to gel and get better as a team.
Coach, have you played in any tournaments so far?
Well, we played in a tournament, a tip-off tournament earlier this year in Fort Walton Beach, had a chance to play for Walton Beach High School and Crestview. We actually came out on the short end of the stick against Crestview, but it was a great opportunity for my guys to go down and play some different competition down in Florida, whereas we wouldn't have probably played them in years past. But it gave me an opportunity to see what basketball was really like in Florida and Pensacola in those areas, and it gave me a chance to really tweak some things as far as with the team and help my kids, raise their level within competition.
Coach, is that the only out-of-town tournament you've been to?
Yeah, yes, sir. So far.
You must not have the travel budget that Coach Wilson has. He's been a few more places.
Yeah, we're trying to get there.
Coach, earlier you mentioned following Coach Bettis, and Coach Bettis is somewhat of a legend. He was around for so long. How did it feel to come in after Coach Bettis and take over?
Well, there was a lot of pressure, really a lot of pressure, and I can't take anything away from Coach Bettis. He really done a great job at Blount, and I think he had set the bar high, not just with basketball, but a lot of the things that he had really tried to instill into the kids' lives. And it's amazing how kids, they'll come back and they'll come to basketball games, and even kids that may have played for him, and they know some of the kids that are playing now, and they still laugh and they joke about some of the things that may have happened when they were in school. And so that's really what's important. You as a coach, you're trying to shed a light into kids' lives, and so when they go off and they come back, they can share something positive, with the kids that are still in school.
Coach, I've been around a long, long time, and Blount has always been rich. The tradition in basketball has always been rich. I can remember going back with Willie Scott, who was a legend. He was an excellent basketball coach, and it just seems like there's always been a great person there for basketball, and basketball's always, been good at Blount. So, in saying that, and I asked this to Coach Wilson, it kind of raises the bar, doesn't it? And I'll ask you the same question I asked him. Is it easier to get there? Is it easier to stay there?
I think the whole entire process is hard. It's always hard building the building, because you have to think about the foundation.
Right, exactly.
You have to dig up deep down into the ground to find a solid, solid ground, and then lay the concrete. And so that part is really hard, because you could lay concrete, and if it's uneven, the building is going to be uneven. So it's hard. I feel like the process is really hard. And then once you get kids to buy into the process and they see the vision and where you're going, because the Bible just talks about, how people perish because of lack of vision and lack of knowledge. And so once you lay the foundation and kids see the process and where you're trying to go, then it makes it a little more easier. But the process is still really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard, and I guess I didn't stay at the top as long as I would like to, but I always found once you got there, it's like, the parents, everybody expects it every year, and and you talking about the foundation, every once in a while you're gonna have a little crack to come in there, and you have to deal with that. But that's a great answer, and that's a good way to put it. Coach, what about basketball here in basketball in Florida? Did you see any difference?
Well, there is sort of a difference, but I still think, as a whole in the state of Alabama, we have we have some ways to go. I think, in other places they play basketball, they play year round, whereas, I was just talking to a friend of mine in Mississippi this past Saturday. In other states they play basketball year round, where in Mobile or per se in Alabama, when they think about Alabama, they think of Alabama Crimson Tide, University of Auburn University, and so it's mainly football. And then even when you break down the state, some people feel once you go past Montgomery, they think about basketball, and then once you go below south of Montgomery, everything is football. So, we're as a whole at Blount High School, what we're trying to do is not kick the door down and change the culture, but we're really trying to change the culture a little bit where, you know, there are really good basketball players in the South, not just at Blount, but at Murphy, at McGill, at Theodore, at several different schools around in the city. 5A schools, Faith Academy, LaFleur, St. Paul, Viger, you know, they're basketball players everywhere, just as well as football players.
That's right. Great answer, Coach. Appreciate you bringing that out. After the break, we'll be back with Coach Wilson.
I transferred to Viger High School halfway through my sophomore year, and the curriculum there, the instructors, teachers, the whole thing was just a shock to me. At Viger, you were encouraged to critically think, and so I was just well-grounded to move on into college football and then on into the NFL. Well, for me, Viger High School was the start. It's where I started, and I'm very proud of that.
I saw Mr. Tillman's class. Just that quick little 5 minutes I had with him made me think that I really wanted to do small engines. I just love tinkering with them, just a gearhead. Graduating from the Career Tech Center has allowed me to better myself, make more money, be more informed about the trade that I'm going to be in. I just felt like doing a trade is just better than working in an office or something. I have to be outside working with my hand or something.
MCPSS Career Tech. Start your future today.
Welcome back. We've asked Coach Wilson to come back and join Coach Pope, and we want to talk a little bit about a couple things. Coach, I asked Coach Pope a question before we went to the break about playing against teams from out of state, and is there any difference? Are we ahead? Are we behind? You want to expound on some of that?
Well, what we have with the out-of-state teams, we have a lot of summer basketball plays a big influence on that. And what we have is we find ourselves playing teams that have several Division I players, and that's basically due to exposure throughout the summertime and whatever have you. But we have, I feel like here, that we do have a better as far as athletic people. We do. The problem is, I feel like with us is just the AAU circuit is we're not as big and profound as others are. When you think of basketball, like Coach said earlier, when you think of basketball, they're looking at the big time cities of Chicago's and New York's and Tennessee's, and very seldom do you really hear, you know, teams from Alabama. I think this year was one of the first years on the Wild that an Alabama team actually won the AAU championship on the girls' side, and that was something that was huge, and it says a lot about, you know, the basketball here in this area.
Coach, you made a great point, because a lot of these kids get offers off their summer work and not, you know, during the season. It just seems like ours have their season. That's when they have to go out there and prove themselves. So that is a good point. Coach Pope, you can talk a little bit about some of your top players this year?
Yes, sir. Well, from last year's team, I have 5 guys that are returning. I had one young man who actually transferred to a prep school, Riverside Academy, John Arnold. Right now, he's there, really playing well. Have Divine Miles, who just recently signed his letter of intent with Stetson University.
Right.
Have Reginald Harbin, who has about 4 different offers on the table. I think he's really leaning towards Presbyterian University, and we're actually waiting on 2 more other kids, Demetrius Caldwell and Antonio Chapman. We're waiting on their test scores to see if they're going to qualify. But you know, we're praying that, you know, things will work out with them in their situation, and have Wallace Pruitt, who's going to attend UAB on an academic scholarship.
So, Coach, how many seniors do you have this year?
Well, I have 6 seniors, and the rest are underclassmen. The rest are sophomores and 2 freshmen.
Okay. Coach, same question. Some of your top players this year?
Yes, we have several top players this year. We have one in particular, Whitney Singleton, who has committed and signed with the University of Alabama at Birmingham. A transfer, Tyler Phelan, who's also signed with Jacksonville State University. We have 2 right now that have been recruited by several different universities, Priscilla Hall and LaPortia Grissett. Both of those young ladies will have a chance to continue their basketball playing careers at a school of their choice.
And how many seniors do you have this?
We have 7 seniors.
7 seniors.
We have 7 seniors.
you gonna have a new group next
We're gonna have a new, young, challenging group to come up in next year, but they're gonna buy into our system and they're gonna do.
I think as coaches, though, that really keeps us sharp, doesn't it?
It does.
Because I mean, you get some of these high schools, they're gonna get the cream of the crop every year, and you know, here we bring that group up slowly and have great years, and then we start all over. But I've had some of my best seasons with those groups that, you know, that wasn't expected to do very good. Coach, you want to talk a little bit about your area?
Yes, our area this year consists of course, Murphy, MGM, and McGill Tooling. So far this year in the area, we've played all 3 area games. We're 3-0 right now in the area. We will pick back up when we come back off of tournaments from the Christmas break. We'll play Murphy on January the 3rd, and that'll be our first area game coming back. So we're looking at trying to take a hold of the area and be able to host that area tournament.
What about competition in the other areas or in the county? Who have we got to?
We got competition in other areas. Of course, you have your Davidsons, whose Coach Ship always does a great job with that group. You have Alma Bryant, who's also been improving each year, and we played those young ladies last year, did a pretty good job. And just overall, and when you get into that time playing the other areas and playing the area tournament is what you're going to bring to the table that night. You know, anything could happen. I've coached a team in Atlanta before that no one gave us a chance, you know, and even my girls, you know, they were looking around, the coach, that last game, no, you won. So it's, you know, so it's about just taking advantage of that opportunity and showing up. You're getting ready for that time of the year.
Coach, same question, your area?
Well, right now we're 2-0 in the area. We have a really big game against McGill on Friday night. We'll play Viger on Tuesday, not to overlook anyone. And again, we both will pick back up on January the 3rd, coming back playing a really strong Murphy team at Murphy.
And as far as the rest of the county, I know Theodore's got a good ball team.
Yeah, they're really, really good. Theodore's really good. I think Davidson is good also. Had a chance to watch a little of Daphne and Foley. And both of those guys, they really are doing a great job, and they have pretty strong teams.
Okay, we've got 1 minute. I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds each. Your off-season program, what do you do real quick, Coach?
We do a lot of fundamentals, a lot of shooting, and a lot of weightlifting.
In the summer, you do your 4 days of
Yes, sir. 4 days of competition.
Okay. Coach?
We have great coaches, Kendrick Cleveland, Alonzo Johnson, Michael Cooley. Those guys are really in charge of our off-season program, and they do a wonderful job with that. We're in the weight room. We conditioning, and they just do an overall excellent job on having the girls prepared and in shape by the start of the season.
Well, that's great. Listen, I'm expecting both of y'all to be in Birmingham. I know it's not going to be easy, but y'all do a wonderful job. And when you mentioned Blunt, you know, Blunt's good in all sports, but especially basketball. And I appreciate what y'all do for our county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching today, and we'll see you next week.
Together now, we can make it better. Can we do it? We'll rope it up.
Cause we know how to jump.
We'll cut it down.
Cause we know what to eat.
Moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier. Search We Can to find out more.